Hello and welcome into today's edition of the Arizona State Sun Devils Insider Podcast. My name is Kevin Hicks and I'm the lead beat writer for Arizona State Sun Devils on SI. Thank you so much for tuning in today, as all my supporters have for the last month, roughly. And all the support means the world to me. I could not do it without each and every one of you. I'm not feeling my best today, admittedly, but the support pushes me through, and I could not thank each and every one of you enough for that. Um, Everyday drill. As you can see, the banner below me, follow me on X/Twitter if you get a chance at KX_21. I will be boots on the ground at Arizona State summer camp once it starts, and that will be phenomenal. I will be getting practice footage, press conference footage, and everything in between, and I will do my best to proselytize the best Arizona State content to each and every body in the fan base that gives me a chance to be informative, engaging, and everything else that comes with the territory. So, without further ado, I want to get into today's episode, the meat and bones of it, and another big signing for Arizona State basketball. A 20-year-old, 6'11 big man by the name of Moore Masamba Diop has committed to Arizona State. So he is, like I said, he's 20 years old. He played overseas for Gran Canaria's B team. I believe that's in Spain. Averaged 16.3 points, 7 rebounds, 1.6 blocks per game. Uh, as described from a pro scouting source, 6'11, 2005, born big, has strong athleticism, light on his feet. He can handle the ball in spot up situations. He has NBA tools, and he gives Arizona State some needed size. So let's break that down. So, as we all know, Jaden Quaintance is gone to the University of Kentucky. Sean Phillips Jr. is gone to the University of Missouri. The entire roster from last season's actually gone outside of Trevor Best, who went to the same high school as Jaden Quaintance, but he returns. He had one game where he really showed out last season, the BYU game where he scored 16 points in a big loss, I believe, but still he flashed a little bit. So that's not entirely a lost cause on his end. Obviously, Bobby Hurley's back is against the wall. He's going into the last year of his contract as a potential lame duck head coach. Graham Rossini decided not to fire him, but he decided not to extend him either after two straight disappointing seasons following the NCAA tournament berth. It'll be 3 seasons ago now, coming up. Yeah, Hurley recognized that the way he built the roster last season didn't work, and he's doing his absolute best to adjust, especially in year two of the Big 12. There are going to be a ton of power brokers in the conference next season. Texas Tech, they're bringing back about 40% of their production, maybe even more, behind an Elite Eight team that almost took down the national champion Florida Gators. Obviously, Arizona, ASU fans might not like it very much, but they're returning quite a bit alongside bringing in Koa Pete, bringing in Braden Burrius, bringing in Dwayne Aristode, bringing in Bryce James, son of LeBron James. They're going to be a very, very talented squad down in Tucson. Tommy Lloyd might have his most talented team yet, if we're being honest. And Baylor returned 0% of production from last season, but Scott Drew always finds a way. Baylor is a perennial force in the Big 12, even though they kind of disappointed last season relative to what was expected. Um, Kansas, obviously, they'll be back. Dwayne um, Peterson, the number one recruit in the class of 2025. Bryson Tiller, they're also going to return a couple of key contributors as well. So Bill Self could have a team to be reckoned with. BYU under Kevin Young, AJ Dabansa, potential number one pick in the 2026 NBA draft signed there. I believe they have two or three other top 100 signees in the class. Absolutely unlimited resource chest in Provo. It seems like it makes sense because Brian Smith, who owns the Utah Jazz and the Utah Mammoth Hockey Club, is also a big sponsor of BYU athletics, at least on the NIL front. So the Big 12 is going to be an absolute battle from game 1 to game 18 of conference play. Arizona State's going to have their work cut out for them. Bobby Hurley is emphasizing building a deeper roster that could very well fit together better from a schematic and a talent perspective. Because last year, the roster was very, very talented. But the issues were you didn't have a playmaking point guard. Alston Mason, BJ Freeman, and Joe Sansanin were guards, but they were score first guards, and they weren't really table setters. Uh, there wasn't a lot of depth. The injuries really dwindled down resources. Hurley was really only working with about a 6 or 7 man rotation by the end of the season. Um, and honestly, there was too much of a divide between the youth and the experience. There needs to be a fine line between going all in on freshmen and going all in on upperclassmen. You need to have a balance. That's what Kenny Dillingham does with the Arizona State program. His philosophy is to bring in underclassmen, freshman recruits from their respective recruiting classes, replace the players that are outgoing due to graduation or going to the NFL draft. And he brings in transfer portal players to supplement the players that transfer out. And I believe that's probably a very good way to approach building a college basketball roster, especially in today's landscape. Can't really fault Hurley. He's obviously working really, really hard to field a competitive roster going into next season. And I feel like personally, a lot of people are underrating the talent that he's brought in. Marcus Adams Jr. was a player that was courted and actually was a member of the Kansas program, Gonzaga, and BYU. So he's been a Power 4 player before. He averaged over 16 points a game last season at Cal State Northridge, 39% three-point shooter. He can put the ball on the floor. He can score at all 3 levels. He has the athleticism to be a solid defender. We talked about the point guard issue last season. That shouldn't be an issue any longer. Mo Odom got brought in from via Pepperdine. He averaged over 7 assists a game last season. Really improved his three-point shot. I believe he shot about 37% from 3. So there are some real shooting threats. The floor spacing looks better. The potential playmaking gap looks a lot different between this year and last year's team. He also brought in a player that's very intriguing by the name of Alan Mukeba. Mukeba played at Toledo last season, I believe. He played at Oakland. Yep, there was another player that played at Toledo. He averaged about 14 points a game, 14.6 points per game, and 7.5 rebounds per game. He's 6'6", 247, out of Belgium. Almost built like Zion Williamson. And I watched quite a bit of stuff from him at Oakland last season, and he is a force to be reckoned with on the interior. Obviously not much of a floor spacer, but Hurley did more than enough to address that side of concern. Mukeba could be a difference maker, honestly. You look back at players that were phenomenal interior players in the past, such as Romello White, Zylan Cheatham, that mold of player, if he can play into that role, Arizona State could be a good basketball team next season, and that's not even being optimistic. I feel like a lot of players that Hurley has picked up are being undervalued due to where they came from, whether it's overseas and they're not very exposed to the American audience isn't very exposed to them, or they came from a smaller program and it's just assumed that they can't hang with a team like Arizona that's built off of 5 and 4-star talents that have spent their whole careers with Power 4 schools. So we'll see what happens. Hurley tends to do his best job with pressure on him, no debate kind of type of thing. We saw that in 2022-23. We saw that in 2018-19. Hurley really works well when pressure's on him, and let's hope that that is the case this season as well. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Once again, please follow me on Twitter at khicks_21 if you get a chance. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and I'll see you tomorrow.